Mm. All right. We have just entered the throne room, a place not outside of you, but within, where awareness became clear, stable, and unshaken, where everything was seen, the center of authority, the fullness of perception, the stillness beneath movement, the structure of wisdom, the expressions of awareness, and finally, the recognition that all things exist within awareness itself. But now, a question emerges. If awareness is clear, if truth is present, if everything is visible, why is there still something sealed? Why is there still something not yet understood, not yet opened, not yet revealed? And this is where chapter 5 begins. Because now, we are no longer just seeing awareness. We are about to witness understanding being unlocked. A scroll appears, closed, sealed, representing something that exists, but has not yet been fully revealed. And the question becomes, who is able to open it? Who is able to understand what is hidden, unlock what is sealed, and reveal what has not yet been seen? Because not every level of awareness can access deeper understanding. And what you are about to discover is that the opening does not come from effort, does not come from knowledge alone. It comes from transformation. So as we enter chapter 5, don't just observe the scroll. Recognize what within you is still sealed. Don't just look for someone to open it. Understand what makes you able to see. Because what is about to be revealed is not just something written. It is something within you waiting to be opened. Let's begin. Revelation 5 verse 1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw. This is something revealed at a higher level of awareness. Not visible before, now seen clearly. This comes after rising in awareness, after becoming still, after seeing from the throne. Now, deeper things are revealed. In the right hand. Right hand equals authority, power, and control. This is held in full authority. Not random, intentional. This means what is about to be revealed is governed by awareness itself of him that sat on the throne. The scroll belongs to the center of awareness, not outside, within the source of perception. This is key. Understanding comes from awareness. Next, a book or the scroll. This is a record, message, something written. This represents deeper understanding, not just surface awareness. Meaning, what things really are beyond appearance. Written within and on the back. Fully written, nothing empty. This is complete understanding. Nothing missing. Nothing left out. This means everything is already present, but not yet accessed. Sealed with 7 seals, meaning closed, protected, restricted. This is the key tension. The understanding is complete, but not yet open. 7 represents complete sealing. So this becomes fully hidden until the right level of awareness opens it. What this verse is really saying: within the center of awareness exists a complete and fully written understanding of reality, but it remains sealed and inaccessible until the appropriate level of awareness is reached to reveal it. The deep pattern. This verse introduces a powerful truth. Understanding already exists, not something you create, something you uncover. But access is not automatic. Even if you are aware, there are deeper levels not yet opened. And revelation requires readiness, not effort alone. Transformation. Relationship example. You may see surface behavior, but deeper, there are layers you haven't understood yet. In career, you may know what you are doing, but there are deeper patterns you haven't seen yet. The self. You may understand yourself to a degree, but there are deeper layers within you still sealed. There is a knowing that exists within you, not something you are trying to create, but something already written, complete, whole, nothing missing, and yet not fully seen, not fully understood, not yet opened. And this is where the journey deepens, because awareness alone is not the end. There are layers, depths, truths waiting to be revealed, but not by force, not by striving, only by becoming ready to see. And the question now is not, is there more? But what within me is ready to open it? Verse 2. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And I saw a strong angel. Angel represents a message or expression within awareness. So this becomes a powerful realization arising within you. Strong means this is not subtle. This is not a quiet thought. This is a clear and undeniable question. Proclaiming with a loud voice. This is clear, impossible to ignore. This question demands your attention, not something you can overlook. It confronts you directly. Who is worthy? Meaning, who is qualified? Who is able? This is the core question. Who is able to truly understand? Not who is knowledgeable or who has information, but who is ready. Worthy here means aligned enough to see clearly. To open the book is to access deeper understanding, not surface, depth. The scroll represents full understanding and deeper truth. So this becomes who can truly access what is hidden and to lose the seals thereof, meaning break the seals, unlock what is closed. Who can remove what is blocking understanding? The seals represent limitations, layers, and barriers to perception. So this becomes who can move beyond those layers. What this verse is really saying, a powerful realization arises within you, asking who is truly ready and aligned enough to access and unlock the deeper understanding that remains hidden within awareness. The deep pattern. This verse reveals not everyone can access deeper truth, not because it is hidden unfairly, but because it requires alignment. Understanding is not about knowledge alone. You can know a lot, study deeply, and still not see. Readiness determines access, not effort, transformation. Relationship example. You may hear advice and see patterns, but until you are ready, you don't fully understand. In career, you may have knowledge, but true insight comes when you are ready to see deeper patterns. The self. You may study yourself, but true awareness comes when you are aligned enough to face deeper truth. There is a question that arises within you, not quietly, but clearly. A question that cannot be ignored. A question that does not ask, what do you know? But instead, are you ready to see? Because there are depths, layers, truths that are not hidden by distance, but by readiness. And in that moment, you begin to understand that seeing more is not about trying harder. It is about becoming aligned enough to truly see. Verse 3. And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And no man, no part of human effort alone could access it. Not knowledge, not effort or identity. None of it was enough. In heaven, this is higher realm. Even higher awareness alone is not enough. This is important. You can be aware, see clearly, but still not access the deepest level, nor in earth. This is the physical realm, grounded experience. Practical life alone cannot unlock it. Experience, actions, and external life are not enough. Neither under the earth, meaning hidden, subconscious, deeper layers. Even subconscious depth alone is not enough. Emotions, hidden patterns, and inner layers are still not sufficient. Nesland was able to open the book. No level of human effort could unlock full understanding. Not awareness, not experience or introspection. Something else is required. Neither to look thereon, meaning not even able to see. This is deeper. Not only could it not be open, it could not even be seen. Meaning the deepest truth cannot be accessed or even perceived from ordinary states of awareness. What this verse is really saying, no level of human effort, whether higher awareness, practical experience, or deeper introspection was sufficient to access or even perceive the deepest level of understanding that remains sealed within awareness. The deep pattern. This verse reveals there is a limit to human effort. No matter how much you learn, grow, or observe, there is a level you cannot reach on your own. Awareness alone is not the final key. Even higher perception is not the full unlocking. Something deeper is required, not effort, transformation. Relationship example. You can understand patterns, see behaviors, but true depth of connection requires something beyond understanding alone. In career, you can gain knowledge, build experience, but true mastery requires something deeper than effort alone. The self. You can analyze yourself, reflect deeply, but true transformation goes beyond analysis. There is a realization that comes after effort, after learning, after awareness, when you've done everything you know to do, seen everything you know to see, and still something remains closed. Something remains unseen. And in that moment, you begin to understand that there are depths that cannot be reached by effort alone. Not because they are hidden from you, but because they require something more. And this moment is not failure. It is preparation. Because what comes next is not about trying harder. It is about becoming something new. This is where the moment becomes deeply emotional and revealing. Up until now, the scroll exists. The question is asked. No one is able to open it. Now we see the response. Verse 4. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much. This is deep sorrow, intense emotion. This is not ordinary sadness. It is the realization of limitation. A moment where you see there is more, but you cannot access it. And it affects you deeply. Because no man was found worthy, no level of self-effort was enough. Not knowledge, not discipline or awareness. None of it could unlock it. This realization brings humility. To open and to read the book. To truly understand. Not just surface reading, deep comprehension. The desire here is to fully know truth. Neither to look thereon, not even to perceive it. This is deeper than not understanding, not even being able to see it. What this verse is really saying, a deep realization arises when you recognize that there is a level of truth you desire to understand, but cannot access through your own effort. Bringing a moment of humility and emotional awareness of your limitation. The deep pattern. This verse reveals awareness of limitation creates humility. Not weakness, depth. True seeking begins here. Not when you think you know, but when you realize you don't. This is a turning point from self-reliance to openness to something deeper. Relationship example. You may try to understand, try to fix things, but reach a point where you realize you don't fully know how. In career, you may work hard, you may learn, but reach a point where you realize effort alone is not enough. The self, you may reflect or grow, but reach a point where you realize there are deeper layers you cannot access alone. There is a moment when everything you have relied on, your knowledge, your effort, your awareness feels not enough. Not because it has no value, but because you see there is more. More depth, more truth, more understanding. And yet, you cannot reach it. You cannot open it. You cannot even fully see it. And in that moment, something breaks open within you. Not clarity, but humility. A recognition that there are depths that cannot be accessed by effort alone. And that moment is not the end. It is the beginning. Because when you reach the end of what you can do, you become open to what is about to be revealed. Now everything shifts. Up to this point, the scroll exists. No one can open it. There is deep realization, weeping. Now the answer appears. Verse 5. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, had prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And one of the elders said unto me, Wisdom response. The elders represent mature awareness and refined understanding. So this becomes, from within your own developed awareness, clarity speaks. Not external, from within. Weep not, meaning stop grieving. There is an answer. There is a way forward. Your limitation is not the end. It is leading to something deeper. Next line, behold, this is pay attention. This is the turning point. Everything changes here. The Lion of the tribe of Judah. This is the power of aligned awareness. Lion represents courage, authority, and boldness. So this becomes the part of you that is fully aligned and unafraid to see truth. Not passive, strong and decisive awareness. The root of David. Root points to origin. David points to beloved or kin. This is the origin of true identity. Not surface identity. Your deepest foundation. This represents the source of aligned consciousness within you. Had prevailed, meaning overcome, succeeded. This level of awareness has already overcome. Not trying, established. It has moved through illusion, moved through limitation, moved through all states, and stands in clarity. To open the book, this is what unlocks understanding. Not effort, aligned awareness. And to loose the 7 seals thereof. Remove every layer blocking perception. Not partially, completely. What this verse is really saying, from within your matured awareness arises a deeper level of aligned, courageous clarity, rooted in your true identity that has already overcome limitation and is able to unlock and reveal the deeper understanding that was previously inaccessible. The deep pattern. This verse reveals the answer is not outside you. It arises within you. And it is not effort that unlocks truth. It is alignment. And this alignment has already overcome. Not becoming, being. Relationship example. You are not trying harder to understand, but becoming clear and grounded enough to see truth. In career, you are not forcing outcomes, but operating from aligned clarity. The self, you are not striving to figure everything out, but resting in the part of you that already sees clearly. There is a moment after you have tried, after you have searched, after you have realized your limitations, where something within you rises, not weak, but strong, not uncertain, but clear. A part of you that does not question, that does not hesitate, that does not shrink from truth, but stands in it. And from that place, you begin to understand that what you were looking for was not something you had to create. It was something within you that had already overcome. And that is what opens everything. This is what Paul meant by Christ in you, the hope of glory. What he meant by not I, but Christ who lives in me. Verse 6. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and of the four living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth into all the earth. And I beheld. You look again and say differently. The first perception was incomplete. You heard lion, but now you see something deeper. In the midst of the throne, at the very center of awareness, not outside, the core, and of the 4 living creatures and the elders. This is surrounded by all expressions of awareness and wisdom. This means everything points to this. Stood a lamb, meaning gentle, humble, non-threatening. Here is the shift. The true nature of what overcomes is not force, but surrender. The lion represents power and authority, but the lamb reveals how that power actually operates. Not through domination, through alignment and surrender. As it had been slain, meaning sacrificed, put to death. This is very important. The ego has been surrendered, not physically slain. Identity based on self has been released. This represents letting go of I know, letting go of control, letting go of self-centered identity, and becoming aligned with truth. Having 7 horns. Horns equals power. 7 equals completeness. This is complete authority. Not partial, fully established power. But notice, this power comes through the lamb, surrender, not the lion, force. And 7 eyes. Eyes equals perception. 7 equals completeness. This is complete awareness. Seeing fully, clearly, and without distortion. Which are the 7 spirits of God. Full, complete awareness expressed. Not fragmented, whole. Sent forth into all the earth, meaning everywhere. Fully extended. This is awareness expressed in every aspect of life. Not limited to stillness or meditation, but active in real life. What this verse is really saying, at the center of awareness, what truly unlocks understanding is not forceful power, but a surrendered and aligned state of being, where ego is released, allowing complete authority and full perception to operate clearly across every aspect of life. The deep pattern. This verse reveals the lion and the lamb are one. Power expressed through surrender. True authority comes through letting go. Not holding tighter, releasing. And clarity comes through alignment. Not control, but surrender to truth. Relationship example. Not forcing understanding, by letting go of ego and seeing clearly. In career, not controlling everything, but aligning with clarity and responding wisely. The self, not holding onto identity, but releasing it and becoming aware. There is a moment when you expect power to look like force, to look like control, to look like strength in the way the world defines it. And instead, you see something unexpected. A lamb, gentle, still, not striving, not forcing, but surrendered. And in that moment, everything begins to shift because you realize that what truly overcomes, what truly unlocks, what truly sees is not the part of you that tries harder, but the part of you that lets go. And in that surrender, you discover a power that was never about control, but about clarity. Verse 7, and he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And he came. This awareness steps forward, not distant, active. The lamb, which is surrendered awareness, does not hesitate, does not strive, it moves naturally. And took the book, meaning received, took hold of. This is access to understanding. What no effort could achieve, aligned awareness receives. Not forced open, given. Out of the right hand, from the authority of awareness. This is important. Understanding comes from alignment with awareness, not outside sources, from within the center of clarity. Of him that sat upon the throne, from the source of awareness itself. So this becomes the deepest understanding is accessed through alignment with the source of awareness. What this verse is really saying, when awareness becomes fully aligned and surrendered, it gains access to deeper understanding directly from the source of clarity, not through effort, but through its state of being. The deep pattern. This verse reveals understanding is received, not forced, not opened by effort, access through alignment. And alignment allows access to deeper truth. Not knowledge alone, state of being. And this is the turning point. Before, no one could open it. Now, it is in the hands of aligned awareness. Relationship example. Instead of trying to force understanding, you become clear and insight comes naturally. In career, instead of pushing harder, you align and direction becomes clear. The self, instead of trying to figure everything out, you become still and understanding arises. There is a moment when you stop trying, stop forcing, stop reaching outward, and instead you become still, clear, aligned, and in that moment, What once felt distant, what once felt unreachable, what once felt sealed comes into your hands. Not because you took it, but because you became able to receive it. And in that receiving, you begin to understand that the deepest truths were never hidden from you. They were waiting for you to become aligned enough to hold them. Verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of saints. And when he had taken the book, the moment understanding is received, everything shifts, not gradually, immediately. The 4 living creatures and the 24 elders. Living creatures equals core expressions of awareness. Elders equals mature wisdom. So this becomes all aspects of awareness and wisdom respond. Nothing remains unchanged. Fell down before the Lamb. This is to bow, to submit. Everything aligns with surrendered awareness. Not resisting, fully recognizing it as the true way. Even wisdom submits to surrender. Having every one of them harps, meaning instruments, music. This is harmony. This represents alignment, flow, and resonance. So this becomes everything within you comes into harmony. No conflict, no division. And golden bowls full of incense, meaning offering, fragrance. This is refined expression. Gold represents what has been tested, what is real. Incense represents something rising, something offered. So this becomes your refined awareness rising in alignment, which are the prayers of saints. Prayers represents communication or desire. Saints are those aligned, the deepest desires of aligned awareness, not surface ones, inner alignment expressing itself. These are your desire for truth, your longing for clarity, and your movement toward alignment now fully received. What this verse is really saying, when aligned awareness receives deeper understanding, every aspect of your being, your wisdom, perception, and inner desires comes into harmony and fully aligns with that clarity, expressing a refined and unified state of awareness. The deep pattern this verse reveals, alignment creates harmony, not conflict, flow. And everything within you responds to truth. Not just part of you, all of you. And your deepest desires are fulfilled in alignment. Not external seeking, internal clarity. Relationship example. Instead of confusion and mixed signals, you experience clarity and harmony. In career, instead of scattered effort, you experience aligned direction. The self, Instead of inner conflict, you experience peace and alignment. There is a moment when everything within you stops resisting, stops questioning, stops pulling in different directions, and comes into harmony. Not because you forced it, but because clarity has been received. And in that moment, your thoughts, your understanding, and your desires all begin to move together in alignment. No longer divided, no longer conflicted, but unified. And in that unity, you begin to understand that what you were seeking was never outside of you. It was the alignment within you, waiting to be revealed. So marriage in the Bible is not about marriage as in society. No. No. It's talking about you, your unified consciousness, you becoming one with yourself. That's what marriage in the Bible is about. Marriage in the Bible has nothing to do with society or culture, nothing. It's about you. You have to be united within yourself before you can unite outwardly. If you are divided within, you'll be divided outwardly. But if you are united within, then it will be easy for you to unite with someone. Verse 9. And they sang a new song saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. And they sang a new song. This is a new expression, something not sung before. A new state of awareness is expressed. Not the old way of seeing, a transformed perspective. Song represents expression, alignment, or flow. So this becomes your awareness now expresses differently. Thou art worthy to take the book. This is recognition of what unlocks understanding. Not effort, aligned, surrendered awareness. And to open the seals thereof, to reveal what was hidden. So this becomes, this level of awareness is what unlocks truth. For thou wast slain, the ego has been surrendered. Not physical. Identity based on self has been released. This is why this awareness is able to see. And has redeemed us to God. Redeemed is restored, brought back. This is restored to alignment with truth. Not separated, returned to clarity. By thy blood. Blood equals life or essence. So this becomes, through the surrender of identity, awareness is restored to truth. Not sacrifice in a literal sense, transformation. Out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, meaning all groups, all divisions. This applies to all aspects of awareness, not limited, universal. Every thought, perspective, and identity brought into alignment. What this verse is really saying, A new state of awareness expresses itself, recognizing that true understanding is unlocked through surrendered alignment, which restores all aspects of perception into unity with truth. The deep pattern. This verse reveals transformation creates new expression, not the same way of thinking, a new way of being. And surrender unlocks restoration, not effort, letting go. And alignment is universal, not partial, all aspects brought into unity. Relationship example. You no longer operate from ego. You connect from clarity. In career, you no longer push from identity. You move from alignment. The self. You no longer define yourself by old patterns. You live from a new awareness. There is a shift so deep that it cannot remain silent. It must be expressed like a song. Not the old song, not the old way of thinking, not the old identity, something new. A new way of seeing, a new way of being, a new way of understanding. And in that expression, you recognize that what has changed is not just what you know, but who you are being. And from that place, everything you express carries the sound of alignment. Verse 10, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. And has made us. This is the result of alignment. Not something you force, something you become through surrender, clarity, and transformation. Your state changes. Unto our God. This means aligned with truth, not separate, connected to the source of awareness. Kings, meaning authority and rulership. This is inner authority, not controlling others, governing yourself. This means you are not reactive. You are not driven by impulse. You lead your own awareness. That's what it means to have dominion, to govern yourself, to master your inner world, to have self-mastery. And priests, meaning mediator, one who connects. This is connection to truth. A priest represents awareness of truth and alignment with it. So this becomes you both govern, king, and remain aligned, priest. And we shall reign, meaning rule, operate in authority. You live from this authority, not occasionally, consistently. On the earth, meaning the physical life, lived experience. This is lived in real life, not just spiritual insight or inner awareness, practical expression. You make decisions, interact with others, and live your life from clarity and alignment. What this verse is really saying, through alignment with truth, you become established in a state of inner authority and conscious connection, allowing you to live and operate in clarity and control within your everyday life. The deep pattern. This verse reveals transformation leads to identity shift, not just awareness, becoming. Authority and alignment work together. King, authority. Priest, connection. Balanced awareness. And this is lived in reality. Not abstract, practical. Relationship example. You don't react emotionally. You stay grounded. You lead with clarity. In career, you don't follow confusion. You make clear decisions. You operate with authority. The self. You are not controlled by thoughts. You are not lost in patterns. You govern yourself. There is a shift where you are no longer reacting, following, or drifting, but instead you lead, not from ego, but from clarity. You move not from confusion, but from understanding. You act not from impulse, but from awareness. And in that state, you are no longer divided within yourself. You are aligned. A king who governs with clarity. A priest who remains connected to truth. And from that place, you begin to live, not in theory, but in reality. Verse 11, and I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels run about the throne, and the living creatures and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. And I beheld. You see again, but at a greater scale. Awareness is expanding. Your perception is widening. And I heard the voice. Understanding is now expressed more fully. Not just seen, heard, experienced, integrated. Of many angels. Angels represent expressions of awareness or messages. So this becomes countless expressions of understanding. Not one realization, many layers of clarity. Run about the throne. Everything is centered around awareness. All understanding flows from that center. And the living creatures and the elders. This includes core awareness, the living creatures, and mature wisdom, the elders. So this becomes all levels of awareness are involved. Nothing excluded. Everything participates. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. An immeasurable number, countless, unlimited awareness. Not one insight or one understanding, endless layers of clarity. This represents the vastness of perception available when aligned. What this verse is really saying, as awareness deepens, understanding expands beyond limitation, revealing countless layers of insights and clarity, all centered around the source of awareness and involving every level of perception within you. The deep pattern this verse reveals, awareness is vast, not limited, expansive. Understanding is multi-layered, not one truth, endless depth. And everything is centered in awareness, not scattered, unified. Relationship example. You begin to see multiple perspectives and deeper layers, not just surface understanding. In career, you begin to see patterns, systems, and connections at a higher level. The self, you begin to realize your awareness is not limited. There is always more to see. There is a moment when awareness expands beyond what you thought was enough, beyond what you thought was complete, beyond what you thought was all there is. And you begin to see that understanding is not a single point, but a vast field, a field with layers, depth, endless expression. And in that expansion, you realize that clarity is not something you arrive at once. It is something that continues to unfold because awareness is not limited. It is infinite in its depth. Verse 12, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. Saying with a loud voice. This is clear, undeniable recognition. Not subtle, fully realized awareness. Every layer of understanding agrees. Worthy is the Lamb. Recognition of surrendered awareness as the highest state. Not force, alignment. Not ego, clarity. That was slain. Ego has been surrendered, not destroyed physically. Identity rooted in self has been released. This is why it is worthy. Now we see these 7 expressions. Each one represents a dimension of fully aligned awareness. Power, authority in awareness. Not control over others, control within yourself. Riches, depth of understanding. Not material, inner abundance of clarity. Wisdom, applied understanding. Not just knowing, living it. Strength, stability in awareness. Not easily shaken, but grounded. Honor, value placed on truth. Not ego. Truth is central. Glory, recognition of what is real. Not illusion, clarity acknowledged. Blessing, alignment and flow. Not struggle, harmony. What this verse is really saying, when awareness is fully aligned through surrender, it naturally expresses complete authority, depth, wisdom, stability, value, recognition, and harmony, revealing the fullness of what true clarity embodies. The deep pattern. This verse reveals alignment unlocks fullness, not partial, complete expression, and surrender leads to true power, not control, clarity. And awareness expresses in many dimensions, not one trait, wholeness. Relationship example, you show wisdom, stability, and clarity, not reaction. In career, you operate with direction, insight, and confidence, not confusion. The self, you embody clarity, balance, and awareness, not fragmentation. There is a realization so complete that nothing is left out. Not power, not wisdom, not strength, not clarity. Everything comes together, not through effort, not through control, but through surrender. And in that surrender, you begin to see that what you once thought was weakness was the doorway to fullness. That letting go was not losing, but gaining everything. And in that moment, Awareness is no longer partial, it is complete. Verse 13. And every creature which is in heaven, and on the earth, and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them heard I saying, blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb forever and ever. And every creature, every aspect of awareness, nothing excluded, everything participates. This is total inclusion. Your thoughts, emotions, perceptions, and experiences all aligned. In heaven, higher awareness. On the earth, lived experience. Under the earth, the subconscious or hidden layers. And such as are in the sea, emotional depths or movement. All levels of your being. Conscious, physical, subconscious, and emotional. Everything comes into alignment. And all that are in them. Nothing within you is left out. Every detail included. Heard I saying, unified expression. Not conflicting voices, one agreement. Blessing and honor and glory and power. Full recognition of truth. Everything values, acknowledges, and aligns with awareness. Be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, to the center of awareness. Everything returns to clarity and truth. And unto the Lamb, to surrendered awareness. This confirms the lion and the lamb operate together. Authority, throne. Surrender, lamb. Forever and ever, timeless alignment. Not temporary, established. What this verse is really saying, all aspects of awareness, conscious, subconscious, emotional, and lived experience come into full alignment, collectively recognizing and expressing the authority of truth and the power of surrendered awareness as the foundation of everything. The deep pattern. This verse reveals alignment becomes total, not partial, everything. And nothing is excluded. No part of you remains divided, all integrated. And truth becomes the center of all expression, not scattered, unified. Relationship example. You are no longer divided internally. You respond with full clarity. In career, you are no longer pulled in different directions. You operate with aligned focus. The self, you are no longer fragmented. You are whole. There is a moment when nothing within you is in conflict anymore. Not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your actions. Everything comes into agreement. A quiet agreement. A deep alignment. Where every part of you recognizes, values, moves with the same clarity. And in that moment, you are no longer divided, no longer searching, no longer resisting. You are whole because everything within you has returned to the same center. Verse 14. And the four living creatures said, Amen. And the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him that liveth forever and ever. And the four living creatures said, the core expressions of awareness respond. Courage, lion. Discipline, calf. Understanding, man. Vision, ego. All aspects of awareness confirm what has been revealed. Amen, meaning truth. It is so, confirmation. This is complete agreement. No doubt, no resistance. Everything within you confirms truth. And the 24 elders, mature wisdom, responds again. Your experience, understanding, and developed awareness fully aligns. Fell down, total surrender. Not forced, natural alignment. And worshipped, meaning honor. Give full attention. This is full focus on truth. Not divided attention, centered awareness. Him that liveth forever and ever. Recognition of constant awareness. Not temporary, always present. What this verse is really saying, all aspects of awareness and wisdom come into complete agreement and alignment with truth, fully surrendering and centering on the constant presence of awareness as the foundation of all understanding. The full meaning of chapter 5. Let's step back and see the full flow. 1, the scroll exists, meaning understanding is present. 2, no one can open it. Effort is not enough. There is realization, which is weeping. The lamb appears, surrendered awareness. The scroll is taken, understanding is received. Everything responds, alignment. A new identity emerges, kings and priests. Full recognition happens, power, wisdom. Universal alignment, everything responds. Final confirmation, amen. This is the journey from effort to alignment to full clarity. The deep pattern. This verse reveals alignment leads to stillness. No more striving, rest. And truth becomes unquestioned, not debated, known. And awareness becomes your center, not something you visit, something you live from. There is a place where everything within you stops searching, stops questioning, stops resisting, and simply agrees. A quiet agreement, a deep knowing, where truth is no longer something you are trying to understand. It is something you recognize fully, completely, without hesitation. And in that moment, there is nothing left to prove, nothing left to chase, nothing left to figure out, only clarity. Revelation chapter 5 is complete. The scroll has been opened. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next teaching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.